The Candle in the Cellar, Boston, 1774. Before muskets roared, before Washington crossed the icy Delaware, a quieter war was already burning, a war fought not with bullets, but with whispers. In the narrow alleys of Boston, behind shuttered windows and flickering candles, messages changed hands that would change the fate of a nation. They called it the War of Shadows. And at its heart was a mystery no one could explain, a series of coded letters, hidden beneath wax seals, passed through the hands of bakers, blacksmiths, and candle merchants. Each message carried the same signature. A single candle drawn in ink, with its flame pointing east. No one knew who sent them. No one knew who read them. But those who did, vanished. Boston, December 1774. The city was suffocating under the weight of British rule. Redcoats patrolled every street, taverns buzzed with rumors of rebellion. And beneath the clamor of hoofbeats and protests, a secret current flowed, invisible but electric. In the cellar of a candle shop on Milk Street, a man named Elias Turner worked in silence. By day, he poured wax for the British Army's candles. By night, he poured secrets into wax that would light a revolution. The faint glow of tallow lamps painted his hands gold as he sealed a letter, no longer than a prayer, inside the base of a candle. It was addressed to Samuel A., New York. When the wax hardened, he drew a single flame above the wick, the mark of the network. A knock at the door broke his concentration. It was Margaret Sewell, a seamstress from the North End, or so the British believed. She was, in truth, one of the listeners, a courier in Boston's invisible army of informants. "You shouldn't stay down here so long, Elias," she whispered. "The patrols have doubled since the tea men stirred the harbor." Elias smirked, wiping his hands. "Then I'll make twice the candles." She handed him a folded parchment. The handwriting was clean, military, deliberate, not from any merchant or rebel. It was from a British major. "Another order?" Elias asked. "No," she said. "A message. Found it hidden under the tavern door." He read. "They have the cipher. Burn all traces. C.M." Elias frowned. "Cipher," he murmured. "What cipher?" Margaret shrugged. "Maybe something from London?" But Elias knew better. The British officers were growing paranoid, and if they mentioned a cipher, it meant someone among them was already working for the rebels. He blew out the candle. "Then our little fire is spreading faster than they think. The hidden war begins." In January 1775, a series of coded pamphlets began appearing in Boston, Philadelphia, and New York, filled with riddles, invisible ink, and phrases like, "The light will burn eastward." Historians would later call this network the Candleman. But at the time, they were known only to a handful of men and women who believed the war for independence would be won not by armies, but by information. They worked through candle shipments, sewing kits, and bakery deliveries, hiding notes between wax layers and bread crusts. Every message carried encrypted intelligence, British troop movements, naval codes, supply lines. And at the center of it all stood Elias Turner, the unassuming candle maker whose shop was only blocks from where Samuel Adams planned rebellion. Yet few knew the secret that even Elias kept locked away, that his wax mixture wasn't just for candles. It could preserve ink. A letter in flame. One evening in March 1775, Elias received an urgent visitor, Dr. Joseph Warren, the fiery patriot who would soon send Paul Revere on his midnight ride. Warren stepped into the cellar, lowering his voice. "Elias, I've read your letters. You're hiding brilliance under candlelight." Elias bowed his head humbly. "Just wax in time, doctor." Warren smiled grimly. "Wax, yes, but with it, we could send words across cities unseen. You found a way to make ink invisible until heated." Elias hesitated. "A curiosity, nothing more." "No, a weapon," Warren said. "You'll make more. For every man in our circle. We'll call it the Candle Cipher." That night, the first coded message using Elias's invention crossed Boston Harbor. It contained troop numbers, naval orders, and the signal that the British were preparing to seize colonial arms in Concord. It reached Lexington in time. The price of secrets. When the first shots of the revolution rang out, the candlemen scattered into deeper shadows. Some were captured. Some betrayed. Some simply vanished. Margaret Sewell was one of the first to disappear. Elias found her sewing shop ransacked, her journals missing. Days later, he received a candle, one of his own, with a flame drawn upside down. Inside, hidden in melted wax, he found a message in her handwriting. "They have the cipher. Someone close to you is not who they claim to be." Elias froze. He thought of Dr. Warren, of Samuel Adams, of all the men who passed through his cellar. But before he could act, Boston erupted. The Battle of Bunker Hill. Warren was killed. And in the chaos, Elias's shop burned, or so history believed. The Forgotten Letter. In 1781, years after independence was won, a sealed candle was found in the basement of a Boston townhouse. Inside, preserved in perfect wax, was a letter addressed to the general. Its ink still glowed faintly when warmed by fire. It read, "The light will burn eastward. When the Republic is born, seek the flame in the cellar. The war beneath the war is not yet over. E.T." Historians dismissed it as a curiosity. But in 1910, a scholar rediscovered the letter in Harvard's archives and noticed something strange. Between the lines, faint impressions of another message appeared when exposed to heat. It was a second layer of writing, invisible, ancient, and incomplete. The only decipherable words were: "Vault, beneath. Boston, cipher intact."